a man...
Piers, welcome to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know you did Larry so many times.
Yes, and you replaced a legend.
Well, Larry hinted to me the reason he loved you as a guest was that you always caused trouble.
Well, you know, if telling the truth causes trouble in the United States today, then yes, I do.
Excellent. Well, that's a lot of truth-telling.
And
trouble.
To me, truth-telling shouldn't be trouble. But if it is, so be it.
What do you make of this extraordinary news cycle we're currently in, with incredible uprisings all over the Middle East, with the continuing global recession, with earthquakes and tsunamis and nuclear crises? It's been an extraordinary period. What have you made of it from your standpoint?
Well, you probably shouldn't ask me that, considering my TV show is called Conspiracy Theories.
Well, exactly.
Which, of course, we have a thing up in Alaska called HARP that can create all these disasters with the weather. I went and discovered that. It's located up in Alaska.
What would you mean?
I think, you know, it's
you can't just say that. You mean, you got a place in Alaska that can create...
Yeah, it's called HARP.
What do they create there?
Well, it's 50 antennas, basically, that put out 50,000 watts, which is the maximum you can for radio, and it combines and shoots it up into the ionosphere, and they ricochet it off back to the ground. They can knock planes out of the air with it. They can control cloud movements and all that with it, with the weather and all this stuff. And they call it an unclassified research center, but I know that that's a lie, because when I went up to go inside, they wouldn't let me in it. So clearly it is classified, so they're lying on the classification to begin with, which is, you know, governments do that. They lie a great deal, it seems, today.
Well, that's also the theme of your book. Coming back to what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I think that, you know, you're always going to see a rise up of the workers, of the people at a certain point when they've been oppressed long enough. And it seems in the Middle East, they've been dealing with these dictators, and they've been dealing with dictators and not fair elections or not having elections. And generally it's the youth, which I think it is over there a great deal too, young people. Young people are traditionally always not satisfied with the status quo. And if there's wrongs being done, young people have the courage at times to rise up against them.
I mean, the way that America has dealt with each of these respective uprisings has been very different. Some would say inconsistent, to put it mildly. What's your take?
Well, my take is that we're only worried if there's a corporate interest. Take Rwanda. We had no interest in that because there was nothing there corporate to gain from it. I've said publicly that I refer to us now as the fascist states of America, because if you look at the simple definition of fascism, it's when corporations team up with organized religion to run a government. I think we're there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see Barack Obama's administration as being run by organized religion, do you?
No, I see it being run by corporations, though, clearly. Barack Obama ran on change. Change, people can, what was the quote? Well, what change have we seen? Nothing. He ran to close Gitmo. He ran to get us out of the wars. We're more into the wars than we've ever been, and Gitmo's still there. I got a feeling he got taken to the woodshed.
I mean, you mentioned Rwanda, and that was obviously scandalous that people didn't get involved sooner than they did. Millions died as a result.
Yeah.
When you see what was apparently about to happen in Benghazi in Libya, where it appeared that Gaddafi was about to slaughter possibly hundreds of thousands of his own people, is there not a humanitarian duty for countries like America to try and prevent that if they can?
Yeah. But I think that you have to go maybe on the perspective that it has to, the first shot has to be fired first.
But it was being fired. He was killing people.
Oh, he was? Well, yeah. Then sure. Then obviously there should be an intervention of some sort. But why is it always the United States?
Well, it's not. It's NATO as well. You've got an alliance of countries. Why are you laughing?
What, the coalition of the willing? Is that what we have? Like
well,
Iraq?
To be fair, in Libya, it was French and British planes that went in first.
Okay, good. Let them go. It's about time they go.
Yeah? You think America's for too long been the world's policeman?
Yeah. If I became president, the first thing I would do is shut down the 248 bases that are located throughout the world. I always put it in this perspective.
But that wouldn't help security for America, would it?
Why not?
We shut down all your bases overseas?
We can get anywhere. We have nuclear missiles. When you look at, okay, let's reverse this for a moment, Piers. We don't like Hugo Chavez very much because he nationalized oil. He kicked corporations out of Venezuela. That's why we don't like him. And now, he's got a lot of money. How would the United States feel if Hugo went, say, by Palm Springs and bought 100 acres of land and moved the Venezuelan military into there?
Just saying that the mere presence of American bases is inflammatory.
Yeah. Why do we have bases in foreign countries?
Well, the argument is to try and prevent uprisings in these areas.
Or is it the opposite? Colonization and world dominance. I could make that argument too for it.
Has it been healthy for America to be the #1 superpower for so long? And is it actually, perversely, could it be helpful now that places like China are emerging?
I think it's very easy to see what's going on. The United States is following textbook example of the Roman Empire, getting itself involved now in 3 wars.
When you served in Vietnam,
Yep.
You didn't, I don't think, actually have live combat there, right? But you were serving. Is that correct?
I don't talk. When I got back, I'm a Navy SEAL. When I got back from my service overseas on my first deployment, the My Lai massacre had just happened or was just in the headlines. I was brought in by my commanding officer, my entire team, and we were ordered. We were to discuss nothing of anything we did or any ops we were on, because normally the SEALs are all part of the top secret operations. So I do not discuss anything I did in the military, other than to say I served honorably and received an honorable discharge, and I showed up, which is more than what George Bush can say.
Yeah, I mean, the point I was going to make is, what lesson did you learn being in the military about the reality of war?
Probably the biggest lesson I learned happened in 2004 when I was teaching at Harvard, and McNamara came through and admitted the Gulf of Tonkin incident never happened. That was the incident, the false flag operation, that got us into the Vietnam War with ground troops over something that never occurred. They made it up. Well, if you start studying history closer, you find that most all wars are based on false flag operations to get the people, to convince the people that they're under attack in some way so that they will support the wars.
I mean, do you think, as a matter of principle, as with Vietnam, as you're seeing in Libya, that America and the West generally should stay out of civil war?
Yeah.
Let countries fight it out if they want to?
Yep.
It'd be a more sensible and, dare I say it, cheaper foreign policy?
Well, I don't know. It would certainly be cheaper. And again, what made us the policemen of the world?
What do you do then about somewhere like Iran, where they have uprisings in Iran, they have a form of civil war, and the bad guys get in charge? The extremists take hold of a country, and then they become a genuine threat, not just to America, but particularly to Israel.
That's true,
and other countries.
Look at all the bad guys we support, simply because they're our puppets.
Well, support stroke control, perhaps.
Well, but well, let me put it to you this way. I was in the Philippines the day that Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and became a dictator. He didn't do it without our permission. We gave him permission to become a dictator. Because what? He was our boy. He was our pawn. As long as they answer to our corporations, we're good with them.
But isn't that the nature of the beast? Isn't that the way it has to be?
Does it?
Well, the alternative is you just let every country get on with it. And as you
shouldn't countries determine their own destiny?
Possibly, but as I say, you end up then with the possibility of further Irans, which is dangerous to world peace. No one disputes that. You have a huge country run by a guy who's publicly said that he wants to annihilate Israel. And these are dangerous people who then have the power to do what they say they're going to do. That can't be allowed to happen, can it? Isn't that why America and the West generally has to do dirty deals with the devil occasionally?
Do they? I don't know.
Well, the alternative is just to have open season everywhere? Well, America has no influence over any part of the world. That can't be healthy, surely.
Well, it isn't America having the influence. It's the national corporations have the influence. We're the puppets to them.
What would you do about oil then?
What do you mean? What would I do?
Well, for example, by your yardstick, if you don't go and get involved in places like Egypt, when there's an uprising as there was, and you get extremists in charge who decide they want to punish America, and they want to get together with the Syrians and the Yemeni and the Iranians, and they're going to stop any oil coming out of the Middle East to America. Then what? Well, that would devastate your economy.
No,
here,
not necessarily.
And it would devastate.
I don't know. I live in Minnesota, and we don't get any oil from there. Ours comes from Canada. The point I'm making is there's oil all over the world. And
but the world is running out.
But our dependence, don't you think we need to shed our dependence on it? All the money we're spending in these wars to get oil, if we turned around and spent that on solar energy and moving that forward, things of that nature forward, the amount of money we're spending to secure this oil, if we took half of it and just spent it on alternative energy, we could break this resistance, and then we wouldn't be compelled to have to go over there and insure.
Do you
want to know why we're in Afghanistan?
I'm fascinated.
It came to me 6 months ago when a story came out that they found a vein of lithium there that they say is worth $1 trillion. Now, what is lithium used for? Every cell phone, every computer, and soon to be electric cars. Yeah, so why don't they just, Piers, tell me the truth?
Jesse,
we're going there to get lithium so that we can live like we live. Don't sit and try to sell me we're to give democracy to the world.
Jesse, it sounds a bit like you've been on lithium. Come on, you can't seriously imagine we've gone to war in Afghanistan over lithium. Come on. Be serious.
I am serious.
My brother just served a 7-month tour of Afghanistan.
I am serious.
He did not risk his life for lithium.
What did he risk it for?
He risked it because everybody knows that Osama bin Laden was training people to commit atrocities in Afghanistan.
We all know that?
That's a fact.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Well, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I don't believe 9/11.
But you don't believe in anything.
No, I
believe everything has an ulterior motive.
Not true. Not true at all.
I've read your book.
Not true at all.
Let me have a short break. When I come back, I'm going to throw at you a few stories. I want to see what you think happened. Let's test these conspiracy theories.
All right.